name is James Williams Jr. and the A on the shirt is for the Avengers. And one of the key members of the Avengers was U.S. Agent, which was John Walker, which I started on the other video, and I jumped on the Avengers and got on 3 teams and got totally fucking off track. So now that we're back on track, and I've showed you pictures of U.S. Agent if you've seen the other video, I want to give you guys like the rundown. There had been a lot of disagreements with S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers, and I guess Cap really decided to make a choice, and Captain America became one of the forefront runners of the Avengers. But at this time, the United States needed their own hero. So somehow or another, and I'm not really sure if this is correct, and you'll have to Google it because I'm probably going to be wrong. At one time, John Walker was a super soldier because he got the watered down version of the Captain America juice. Alright? So the Captain America juice is my term of calling it the watered down version of the super serum. And the super serum gave Captain America peak human strength, which was actually beyond peak human strength. So John Walker got the peak human strength, which means he's not as strong as Spider-Man, but he's stronger than Wolverine. Now his shield is also made out of vibranium. I don't think it's made out of the good vibranium like from T'Challa's place, but the vibranium that his suit is made out, his shield is made out of, is probably not as dextro as the one Cap's shield is made out of. I'm really not sure if any of their shields have ever really been destroyed outside of on the cartoon, but for the most part, they've had like vibranium stuff. So John Walker, who also became Captain America at one time, he became Captain America because Captain America got tired of being Captain America, and so somehow or another he quit, and John Walker picked up the mantle because he was the only one trained in the same fighting style as Cap with the fucking shield thing, you know, springing off the wall. That was not Superman's, people. For those who do the Superman punch, honestly, it was Captain America. It was never Superman's punch. It was Captain America. So you guys are going around hollering Superman punch, you know, the same punch that Roman Reigns does. Actually, it's Captain America's punch. Alright? Cap did it first. Superman does not have to punch people. He can fly. So Cap was the one who sprung off of things and hit people in the face. And sometimes kicked them. Anyway, back on U.S. Agent. So John Walker is 6'1", I think. I think him and Cap were like roughly the same size. They're both in the 6 foot area, which means I'm not Cap because I'm too fucking short. I'm only 5'3.5". So they probably wouldn't want a 5'3.5" Captain America. Anyway, same thing with Bucky Barnes because Bucky was like supposed to be like 5'5", 5'6". He was the Robin of that era. So we're going back off track. So we're gonna get back on track as fast as I can. With the incident, I want to say it was either between the Secret Wars or during the Secret Wars or after the Secret Wars, where John Walker became Cap. And it was a big falling out, and him and Captain America actually got to go into fisticuffs. And then they got captured by somebody. And hopefully this is the right book, and it's not a what if, because it might be a what if. I have to go look for it. I have so many comics, it's hard to say. It'll take me fucking forever to find the damn book. If I'm not looking for it, I'll probably find it faster. But anyway, they were trapped, and they switched suits back. And so Cap had put on the U.S. Agent suit for the second time, and John put on the Captain America suit. And when they went to go catch them, they grabbed John thinking that he was Cap, and that allowed the others to escape. And then Cap and John switched shields, which I think was the only way you could really tell them apart, because they kind of look alike. And no, I'm not trying to be racist and say that all white people look alike. And sometimes all white people and black people all look alike. So it just depends on perspective. So at the end of that, initially, after it was all over and everything, they got their suits back. And the thing was, before all that, when John Walker became Captain America, because Captain America literally quit. Whoever was in charge, this was it. I quit. And he threw down the shield and he threw off the clothes and said, I'm no longer feeling that I deserve to be in this position as Captain America. I'm out. And so John Walker, not saying he was a gold digger, but damn sure a go-getter, he's like, well, no one else can do the Captain America thing better than me. Now, there were other potentials. Falcon was a potential, but Falcon is now Captain America. But before that, Battle Lion, I'm probably not saying his name right, it's either Battle Lion or Battalion, but whatever his name is, he had the triangle shield. He had Captain America's original shield. He was one of Silver Sable's guys. You know, which by the way, if you're listening, Marvel, if you're watching this, Silver Sable needs a movie, or at least a TV show. Maybe bring her into the Agents of Shield. You know, hint, hint. Bring her into the Agents of Shield. I could use a job too. I would like to be one of Silver Sable's cronies. Anyway, so the whole thing is that John Walker was Captain America for maybe a year, and then they somehow zapped him back. And during that time, Captain America had picked up the U.S. Agent mantle and started working for S.H.I.E.L.D. as U.S. Agent. It was a flip-flop. I don't know what they were trying to prove or whatever. Only the people at Marvel can confirm or deny this whole clusterfuck, because I'd have to go all the way to my basement and try to find these books, and hopefully nobody stole those ones. Because some of my comics were stolen not too long back. But, you know, it all depends on, like, what you're looking for. And when you comparison with Captain America and John Walker, I'm sorry, I love John Walker, but Steven Rogers will always be Captain America, and John Walker will always be U.S. Agent. But they've never replaced U.S. Agent. The other side of the cap, as far as I know, they've never replaced U.S. Agent. And yes, U.S. Agent does eventually become an Avenger. He goes to the West Coast Avengers with Rhodey, and then there's like an Avenger battle where Cap and John Walker fight each other. Iron Man and War Machine fight each other, and everybody else, I believe, they pick and choose. I really can't remember how that shit worked out, but I know they picked and choose. And it's the same thing. Like, the main reason which led me to stop reading the comic books is because Vision and Scarlet Witch had a baby that was born, stillborn, and she fucked up the time continuum. After that, I stopped reading them. And for everybody who reads comics, you know that there's a difference between an alternate timeline, an alternate reality, and an alternate universe. And if you don't know, well, they're self-explanatory. An alternate timeline is like when Phoenix came back the second time. And I'm talking about Rachel Summers, not Rachel Gray. When Phoenix came back the second time, she had been enslaved by the Warhounds, which is why she had the little suit with the spikes, because she escaped and she was a war prisoner. She was a slave. And that was during the second Secret Wars. The first Secret Wars, she popped up to try to warn them, but what she didn't know was that Scott had already had a baby with Madeline. And when she found out, you know, she just hung around, and the only person that knew that she was Scott's child was Professor Xavier. Once she went home, she told Scott that she was his daughter, and that Jean Grey was his mom. And that's how he found out that Jean was still alive. But he didn't really believe it until he saw her on the news or some shit, and that's when he abandoned his wife and child in Anchorage, Alaska, with his grandfather, Corsair's daddy, to come to form the X Factor team. And basically, once he found Jean, it was like, fuck my family, I'm done. I got the woman I want, you know, which is a really bad make on his half. But what's done is done, you know. He owned it eventually. In the Inferno Saga, he really didn't have a choice because Madeline was trying to fuck everybody. Now, if you go back to, you know, the alternate timelines, and don't worry, I'm getting back to John Walker. In one alternate timeline, he was always Captain America. I don't remember what issue that was, but he was always Captain America. So, you know, you have to Google and confirm it. And again, I could be wrong because it might have just been a whole other universe in general. And I know at one time, Night Thrasher, in one of the alternate timelines, was also U.S. Agent. Or at least he had the suit, because they were fighting like a pharaoh or some shit. He didn't have the skateboard. He had the fucking U.S. Agent suit and shield. And him and the New Warriors were fighting this pharaoh in Egypt and shit. So it was like really fucking crazy. And as a side note, you know, whenever you start reading comics, if you're really into comics, you have to be very much aware of those little like yellow tags in the comics, because it tells you, like, if you missed this comic, to find out where this guy came from, you need to go see that comic on that page. And it'd be like, Uncanny X-Men 87, 1988, 89, somewhere in there. And, you know, you'll go back and you'll find it, and you're like, oh, yeah. So whenever you're dealing with alternate timelines and alternate dimensions and alternate universes, they're all self-explanatory with the word alternate. If you have no idea what that means, you should probably Google it. That way you won't be half as unintelligent as you seem. And then you could figure out where I'm going with that. So John Walker as U.S. agent, made a really good name for himself. And then when he stopped being U.S. agent, Captain America had made a really good name for himself as U.S. agent, but people thought that he was John Walker, and people thought that John Walker was Captain America until that big clusterfuck happened when they were captured, and then people knew the damn difference. All right, but by that time, they both switched jobs back. So there are quite a few rivals with John Walker and Captain America. I really don't know why they stopped using U.S. Agent. I don't know why in the cartoon they haven't really, like the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I don't know why they haven't even brought him back in there. But when they had the other Avengers, they didn't have him in there either. But they did have the Kree Commander, who is also known as Captain Marvel. So I was like, how many damn Captain Marvels is there? And truth be told, I think there's at least 3 of them. Because you have the one in DC, which we all know is Shazam, and then you have Captain Marvel Jr., who's also in DC, which is also another Shazam, or Shazam Jr., or whatever the hell. And then there's the girl, I don't remember her name. And then in the Marvel universe, you have Captain Marvel, the black chick, Captain Marvel, the Kree, and then I think there's another Captain Marvel, but I can't really remember what the hell he or she is. So, like I said, Beta Ray Bill, he was the only person who was not of Earth who could wield Thor's hammer, the actual Mjolnir, because Thor hit him with it or something, and he just picked it up off his chest and threw it back at him. So, but Beta Ray Bill's a bad motherfucker. Now, he just looks horrible. But, I'm going to end this now because I don't want to go too far off of the John Walker thing. But I just want you guys to know, they're both 6 feet tall. They both have blonde hair and blue eyes. So, stereotypically, they kind of look the same. And if you, could get a comparison picture of them side by side, you would see that they both have yellow hair, which is supposed to be blonde in the comic books. They both kind of look like Flash Gordon with the chin and everything. And they both have slightly different color eyes. So, in closing that, it's really difficult to try to compare. But like I said, I love John Walker, don't get me wrong. But when it comes down to it, there's no substitute for the original. And I'll always love Cap. So, it kind of hurt me when Cap got killed that they didn't make John Walker become Captain America again. They made Bucky become Captain America. And this is like in the Civil War thing. And this is another reason why I kind of stopped reading the comics. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to pick up another comic book that's not dated back to 2010. Because anything after 2010, my knowledge is totally shot. I've looked through them, I've glanced them, I've scanned them, but if my favorite heroes aren't in it, I'm like, no. Because the last X-Men I picked up, I can't remember what it was, but Cyclops and Emma Frost were married. I'm like, what? What the fuck? When did this fucking happen? But apparently it happened, and Jean Grey's with someone else. I'm like, what? Yeah. So if you're truly a hopeless romantic, that one would have fucked you up too. And it totally fucked me up because after all these years of all this stuff, with all this crap going on with Scott and Jean, and they finally, where the hell did Rachel Summers come from? And where the hell did Rachel Grey come from? Alternate timelines and alternate dimensions. There you go. So, it's kind of like that. Well, in the end, if you don't like John Walker's Captain America, you don't have that problem because he's not Captain America. But I don't honestly know if he's still U.S. agent because I haven't picked up a comic since 2010. I was going through some shit in 2010. So it kind of didn't matter if I had a comic book or not. I was really going through some shit. And then I joined the military. So, yeah. But before that, and I had glanced at them, I think I really stopped reading them in 2009, maybe 2008. Whenever the fuck the Civil War started up, I kind of alright, fuck it, I'm done. You know what I mean? And it was pretty much the Civil War and the Skrull invasion, which started leading to the downfall of me to stop reading comics. But I still love them, and I still love the cartoons. I don't like when they keep changing the fucking origin stories, though. You just leave the shit the fuck alone and let it be. I don't too much right, so that's that in a nutshell. And I'm like, okay, well, if you're not gonna leave it right, at least shorten the byline, so that it's sellable and that people will understand, what's going on with that. So I'm James Williams Jr., and this has been Off the Track here with the John Walker thing, and I will probably post these sometime tomorrow. which means I'll probably post them right now. I'm going to do one more. And